Joining us now is Director of Consumer Research at Refinitiv, Jharonne Martis. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
What's the takeaway? I mean, a big week of earnings, a big look at the consumer. What's the key takeaway that you got from this week?
Well, it's interesting because there's clearly a divide between the winners and the losers. And it's evident that consumers are definitely rewarding those retailers that are giving them a fast and convenient way of shopping. And the value proposition is frontal and it's a focus for the consumer right now. So we're seeing Nordstrom beat expectations, and that's because they have an off-price retailer division, the Rack, that did very well. That's offering the consumers the value proposition. Ross, TJX knocking it out of the park, and then you have Target and Walmart. So you're seeing that the value proposition is very important for the consumer.
I mean, but it's so funny because I've been trying to weave together a theme, and you maybe hit on a couple of those, but Home Depot diving after earnings, but Lowe's hitting record highs. Then you've got like the luxury side of things. You have RH. Yes, there is some Warren Buffett involvement in that as well, but there seems to be a huge divergence in parts there. But it's not necessarily you can pin it on one thing. It's not one part of the income spectrum. Right. It's not one part of the price spectrum at all. What exactly can investors do with that information?
I think it's very important to really dig deeper into the data. For example, you mentioned Home Depot, right? Target, this week, they knocked it out of the park and stock surge. But this has not always been the case. Target invested a lot of money in their omni-channel, and then their stock used to suffer years ago. This is the same story we're seeing now with Home Depot. Home Depot's numbers, if you dig in deeper, they actually posted a growth compared to a year ago. However, because they said that they're investing in omni-channel, the stock took a hit. So it's very important that what we're seeing also is omni-channel is like a necessary evil. It's a big investment. We're seeing that the Home Depot said that 22% growth in online, and over 50% of that online growth actually is derived from consumers ordering online and picking up in store. So for them, it's very urgent. It's very essential to really invest in that omni-channel.
So I mean, it's key.
Yes.
Obviously, the digital side of things, moving into that omni-channel side of the business is a massive, massive undertaking. But I would say this. We saw the same thing happen with, you mentioned Target.
Yes.
I would also say Walmart was the same situation. There was a time when when investors writ large said, "Oh, they're not making money.
Right.
They're spending so much money on e-commerce." But now
it's
Walmart and Target are both now surging every time, and it's being driven by sometimes 30 to 40% gains in e-commerce sales.
Right, and even West Elm, Williams-Sonoma yesterday saying that online sales grew 9%, and that made up for 57% of their revenue. So again, underlining why it's so important to invest in the e-commerce experience. But I think it's important for the investors to dig deeper into the data and not just like judge a company just because they're telling us we're going to invest a lot of money, in the long-term growth of the company. Because like we saw with Target, it does pay off.